environmental impact of the digital technologies. Just a topic about words. I will certainly speak about ICT to refer to the digital technologies. ICT means information and communication technologies. So this is a kind of bigger word to mention everything that relates to digital technologies. We mainly use this word in the professional world, enterprise world, but it's just the same. The digital is for everybody. ICT is when we deal with professional working in the ICT sector, in the digital sector. So it's just the same word. Yeah, that's right. So let me first introduce myself to you. I'm Sylvain Baudoin. I'm working for the chief project. I'm part of the experts of the ICT. I'm a writer of a report that we released in 2020, which was called Expanding Digital Sufficiency. So that's why I'm here today, to explain you what we consider at the chief project, what are the main issues with the digital world, and giving you some, I'm sorry, but there are some things blinking on the screen. Is it okay with the screen? Okay, thanks. So I'm giving you some clues about what we can do with digital and how we can tackle the digital sovereignty in the culture environment. So first, when we talk about digital and ICT, we first consider usage. Because digital is everywhere. Whatever you can consider, you will find some any digital device. If you want to do some shopping, if you want to communicate with your family, with your neighbors, if you want to shop, if you want to, I don't know, to learn, everything, if you want to play, if you want to watch movies, everything relates to digital devices. So the first contact we have with the digital world is via usages. The problem with digital usage is that we need devices to play with. So worldwide, we consider we have something like 34 billion devices. And the problem is the trend. The trend is that we expect to have something like, 45 billion devices by the end of this decade. We'll see later on some figures, but this is mainly what we consider being the most important problem with digital world is the trends that are behind. So in this presentation, we'll see briefly what are the main mechanism behind these trends and why we have problem with these trends. When we have devices, we also have internet connections. When we use digital devices, we mainly use internet behind. If you consider having only digital devices without internet, you have a problem because you will see that you can't do anything. You can't play if you don't have any connection. Most of the games you play with, you can't play with them if you don't have internet connections. If you want to watch movies, you need to have an internet connection. So the same trend we have on devices, we have it on internet connections. So on this picture, we can see that the trend about internet connections is an exponential curve, which let us say that we have a problem with that. We also have a problem with energy. If you want to use devices, whatever the device is, you need to have energy. What is important to know is that energy occurs not only when you use the device. This is the electricity you have to to use to charge your device with, but you have energy also on the production phase. When you have a device in your hand, the device was obviously produced somewhere in the world, and this production required some energy. What this picture says is that roughly the primary energy is half due to production, half due to the usage phase. So it's not only a matter of use when you deal with energy, it's also a matter of producing the device. So you certainly have heard about the best practice, that is to extend the lifespan of any device. This is one of the reasons. If you extend the lifespan of the device, you require less energy overall to produce all the digital devices. C'est pas évident de switcher avec les deux écrans.
Tu veux que je le fasse?
Bon, ça, je vais à peu près retrouver. So I mentioned trends. Here you have different trends about digital. What matters most is what's on the left on the screen. It's about data. Data is everywhere, and data is expected to grow at a dramatic pace, which would give additional pressure to what we need as networks and what we call also data centers. I didn't mention data centers yet. Data centers are kind of big buildings where you store and produce all the digital services. The more data you have, the more data you exchange while you use internet, the more data centers you need. So the overall trend is quite dramatic. So because this means more and more data centers, so you need more to produce more and more devices, you need to produce more and more buildings. So in a limited world, this is not a trend that is going to we can go with it without any problem. So now dealing with the impacts. Ouais, j'ai inversé un peu. I just mentioned trends. What is behind ICT? Now we are going to deal with the environmental impacts. The first impact, I mentioned energy, but if you look at energy, you are shortly going to look at the carbon dioxide emissions. So the first trend we try to assess at the SHIFT project is the emissions of carbon dioxide. So we assess that today the global volume of carbon dioxide emissions related to ICT is roughly 3 to 4% of the global world emissions. Just to give a reference point, France, the emissions, the overall territorial emissions of France is about 1%. So when we deal with digital worldwide, you are considering something that is bigger than France. So this is not something we can quickly work with. We have a real issue with digital. And if you look at the curves, the trend is not very, I would say, satisfying, I would say. Because in a very short term, we are going to have emissions related to digital that will exceed what we have today with maybe agriculture or maybe individual mobility. Now, if you look deeper, what's behind the way we produce, we have impacts, environmental impacts with digital is looking at the complete life cycle of what a device is. So this cycle relates to any kind of device. It could be maybe furniture, whatever. What is important here is that for every picture, every single thing you have on this curve, you have emissions, you have impacts on the environment. For instance, on the production phase, we'll see later on, we have impacts about mining. We have impacts about water usage, whatever you think. On this curve, we also have a kind of feedback loop related to recycling. So let's explain quickly what we have with recycling and why it's a problem. We may consider that recycling is something that is very good, and it is indeed, but we may have this image in mind that it is sufficient. It is actually not sufficient for different reasons. One of them is that in your internet or digital device, you have very tiny portions of materials that are very difficult to extract and put back in the cycle of production. So a big part of your digital device cannot be actually be recycled. So this is an issue. And if you look worldwide, only around 17% of any e-waste. So e-waste is a waste coming from electronic waste. Only 17% of e-waste are actually properly collected and recycled worldwide. So this means that the vast majority of e-waste are just gone somewhere in the nature. We don't know where it is. So this is a big issue because we cannot properly control these feedback loops that could come from recycling. So a second reason why expanding the lifespan of any device is important is that because the longer we keep the device, the less additional lost weights we have on this feedback loop. If we take some examples about devices, we can see something that on the first side, the impact of an individual device is quite limited. But here it's a matter of kilograms of CO2. So if you compare what are emitted on the production phase for the device, if you compare it with the weight of the device, you can see that there is an important factor. For instance, if you look at the what is called console portable, so it's a game device, handheld game device. So this weight is something like 200 or 300 grams. And still, this is a small device, but it emitted a lot on the production phase, so roughly 100 times more than its weight. So the bigger the device is, if you look at it, the bigger the emissions will be. If we look more deeply about screens are important in the culture environment because when you deal with movies, you deal with screens. So the bigger the screen is, the bigger the impact are. There is a kind of direct relation between the size of the screen and the emissions. So you have on top right corner, sorry, the emissions related to the size of the screen. At the bottom left, you have the trend we have in the number of devices and TV sets in the world. Shortly, we will be around 1 billion TV sets in use worldwide. If we take another example, we have a stereo sound system. We can see that the bigger impact come from the bigger part of the CO2 emissions come from the raw materials. This is the blue part of the circle at the bottom. Mining is a real concern, and we'll see that later on when dealing with digital devices. We mentioned internet. Internet is not something that is vaporous, that relates to clouds. Internet, if you want to use internet worldwide, we need to use thousands and thousands of kilometers of cables. And the cables are spread worldwide, mainly in the oceans. So on this map, you can see any kind of the circles at the connection points. and you have all the cables that connect the continents and the countries all together. So if you consider, I don't know, the connection between Europe and the United States, it's not a matter of just one cable. This is tens of cables. So this means tons and tons of raw materials to produce these cables. Production, this is a factory. Production, ICT is really concrete. It's made of real materials. When we deal with clouds, we consider that a digital service is vaporous, but it's not. A digital service is powered with big computers. And you build big computers thanks to materials, raw materials you find in the earth. We have a problem with copper because copper is widely used in digital devices, but it is also widely used in electricity transportation. It is widely used when you deal with producing green electricity. So copper, you get copper in the earth, and you have a problem with copper because you have concurrent usage of copper between the digital world and the green electricity you want to have in the future. So somehow we may have to decide what is best, to use copper to produce electricity or use copper to play games with.
C'est la vidéo. Ouais. We will show you a quick video from CNN about mining and what are rare elements that are in all the electronic devices that we use. So let's watch a 5 minutes video.
Renewable technology
Hey, Héloïse, the video is really poor quality on our end. Would it be possible that you send us the link and maybe we watch it on our...
Yeah.
You can't, you don't see
you don't hear it well?
No, we don't hear it and c'est complètement haché et on entend pas bien.
Okay. I will send you the link. Hop.
La fenêtre elle est ouverte, il n'a pas été ouverte à un moment donné dans le navigateur.
Attends. Je vais choper là. Partager. Ouais. Hop. Hop là. C'est bon. Normally you have all the link. So let's watch the video for 5 minutes and then go back to the presentation. Is it okay for everyone? Okay, perfect.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, did everyone watch the video? Is it okay? Well, okay. So
Great.
let's
Okay, so in this video, you understood that we have an issue with rare earth elements. It mentioned what I just said before about waste. We have an issue when dealing with recycling the e-waste. Overall, if you consider the complete impacts and ecological impacts of an electronic device, you end up with the concept of ecological backpack. In an ecological backpack, you put everything that you had to extract from the environment and use to create the given device. So if you want, for the example here is a laptop, which weighs roughly 2 kilograms, which is quite a big laptop, but in a 2 kilogram laptop, you actually needed 800 kilograms of resources to create this laptop. So you have a ratio of about 400 between the weight of the involved resources and the weight of the laptop, the final device. I mentioned just before a ratio of maybe 10 or 100 related to emissions of carbon dioxide. Here, the ratio is about everything. In these 800 kilogram resources, we did not account the wastewater. We used hundreds and hundreds of liters of water, and it's just waste because it's full of toxic products. So the water at the end of the production process is not usable at all. Okay. Now dealing with usage. What matters first when you look at the internet traffic is videos. It's important to mention videos here because video is in the scope of culture. So most of the content that go through the internet is video. So it's online video. So other video is something like just the Zoom we are doing now. Maybe some other activities just like sharing your screen, stuff like that. But if you look only at what is accountable directly to produced content, which mentioned online video, accounts for 60%, between 60 and 70% of the internet. Now trends mention more than 70% related to videos. Specifically speaking with mobile devices, we mostly use internet on our mobile devices to watch videos. On mobile devices, videos accounts for 80% of the usage of internet. So it's a big concern. Videos is a big concern when dealing with the usage of the internet. As we mentioned earlier, the internet works thanks to all the cables we have on worldwide. So the more video we add and the more video we demand on the internet, the more cables we will need. Overall, if you may compare the impacts and the carbon dioxide emissions related to videos worldwide, you end up with the figures that makes video comparable to what has been emitted by Spain in 2018. So again, if you remember, the complete digital world is accountable for maybe 4% of the carbon dioxide worldwide. Only the video is 80%, 60 or 80% of this. This is comparable to Spain.
La petite vidéo, mais on...
Okay, so on the video yet.
Copier le lien.
Copier le lien, on va voir si ça marche.
So just to summarize what Sylvain just presented you, the shift made a quick video just to explain, to summarize all this. So it's like a 2 minutes video. Let's just watch it and then go back. Okay, so we are really happy that we all emit CO2 while watching this video. Let's go back to diaporama.
C'est là. Ouais.
Sorry. Okay. So now, what about digital and culture? Tu continues ou tu veux
C'est comme tu veux.
C'est comme tu veux. Bah, tu continues peut-être pour la partie vraiment
Si tu veux, pas de souci.
Enfin, comme tu préfères. Hein,
non, je peux continuer.
Okay. So, Sylvain is going to continue with the link between culture and video.
Okay, so we mentioned that already. We have a big issue with video traffic. It's somewhat counterintuitive, but watching video has a real impact and is a source of emissions of carbon dioxide. So we just said that. So specifically speaking with video, I just mentioned the importance of the size of the screen, but you also have a problem with the size of the screen and the size of the format, because you may know that we have different video formats. This is mainly now 4K, 8K is coming. This relates to the size of the, say, the file that stores the movie. And it relates to the number of pixels, the size of the image of the movie. So from 4K to 8K, you multiply by 4 the size of the data that makes the movie. So we want 8K format because we have large screens now. We would have smaller screens, 8K wouldn't make sense at all. If we want bigger screens, producers will create bigger screens, but also we also say to the movie producers that we want movies that fit into our 8K television. So we want actually movie producers to create 8K movies. So if you have 8K movies, we will need a bigger internet connection. So network providers will have to enlarge their network, and they will maybe need to extend their network. But if we also have, as an end user, larger networks, it will be easier for us to watch 8K movies. So if it's easier to watch 8K movies, we want bigger screens, because we all want to have to watch movies of a better quality, and it's kind of a vicious cycle, and this leads to what we call a rebound effect. What is important is to understand that the growth, the trend we have with the digital world comes from a kind of feedback loop, positive feedback loop between the users and the producers. If it's easier for us as a consumer to consume things, we will require things that fit into this easier world. And producers will produce bigger things that we will then be happy to consume. So it's kind of a vicious cycle that lead us to the trends we show at the beginning of the presentation. Theoretically, at the beginning, the rebound effects were dealing with energy, meaning that if a process requires less energy to produce, using the process will be cheaper, so it will be easier for people to consume the process, etc. So at the end, we will have more people consuming the process, the new process, which requires less energy than the initial process, which required more energy. So in the end, if we put everything in addition, we will in the end consume more energy than we consumed it before when the process was less efficient. This is what we call the Jevon paradox, or the rebound effect. And this is what behind the feedback loop.
We are still seeing your YouTube screen, so if you can switch. Thank you.
On va tenter de repartager.
So we share again the screen.
Hop.
Ouais, attends, c'est celui-là, je pense.
Non, c'est ça, diaporama, PowerPoint.
Oh, mais c'était pas le PowerPoint, je pense qu'on a... Ah, si, c'est PowerPoint qu'on a lancé.
Ouais. Is it better?
Okay.
Is it okay? Okay, perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Attends. Qu'est-ce qu'on avait mis là-dessus? Bon, on va continuer là-dessus. Okay, do you want me to explain things again, or is it okay for you? Okay, so I continue.
It's okay.
It's okay. Okay, so here we have a picture depicting the positive feedback loop I just explained. In France, we had this with the 5G, the network 5G. This is a picture from a report we wrote about 5G, but it's almost the same. I mean, in France, 5G was first deployed because the 4G network 4G network was almost saturated. So it's not, at the beginning, 5G is not intended to give additional usage for mobility. It's a matter of giving a fresh air to networks that was almost saturated. But the problem is 5G, if you do so, you just take part of the vicious cycle. So you continue giving more power, easiness for users to consume digital content. So what you just do is just to keep on this vicious cycle that leads to dramatic trends for digital usages. Okay, so just to summarize, you have two possibilities to have rebound effect when you deal with digital, especially in the culture sector. The more support, the more diffusion modes you have, the more you will push users to consume content, digital content. So you have a first rebound effect. The other rebound effect we can see is the increased gauge. The gauge is the how many people is going to a festival, is going to watch a movie in a cinema room, stuff like that. If you put access, if you give access to the content to users via digital services, the more people will consume your service aside what already exists. What you have to understand, especially in the culture world, digital is not the support. It's not support at all about sobriety, and it's not a matter of keeping usage under control. Digital first mean more thing. Let's have some examples. If you look at what happened in France in cinema, if you compare the audience, the attendance in the cinema rooms in France in the beginning of 2023, you end up with an attendance that is almost what it was just before the COVID crisis. But at the same time, people just watch more and more movies via Netflix or Amazon and stuff like that. So what it just means is that video streaming didn't move off people from the cinema rooms. It just gives some more video content to users, to people. So people just kept on going to cinema rooms, but they also consume more videos via digital platforms. If you just ask yourself a question, we may spoke about metaverse these days. Metaverse was first showed as a great place to watch, to see online concert. But you just ask yourself, if you watch live concerts on the metaverse, will you still go to live concerts in rooms or festivals? There are certainly no reason for you to say, oh, I just watched my favorite star on a live event on the metaverse, so I won't see him in live in concert. So you will certainly again do the thing twice. You will watch the show first on the metaverse, and then you will find it very good, and you will be pushed to go in the concert room to watch him again.
So the idea is, so what can we do now that we understand that digital has an environmental impact? What can we do in order to reduce its impact? First of all, is to measure stuff, to know what is the impact of a smartphone, what is the impact of a computer, what is the impact of our use of data, of videos, etc. So first is measure, like we say. Then there is some good practices that you can put in use easily. First, you always prefer to buy reconditioned products and second-hand products, whereas new ones. You can find a smartphone on black market. I think there are maybe some local distributor also in your countries. In France, we have, for instance, Smart, where you can buy smartphones and iPads and computers on it. Then try always to repair. In our society today, it's not so easy to have this way of doing, because we are used to be pushed into throwing and buying again. So the repairing is not so intuitive. For instance, almost no one knows how to repair its own cell phone. Usually you throw it away and you buy it a new one. And sometimes it's not so much expensive. But repairing will expand the lifespan of your equipment. And this is how you reduce its CO2 impact, as we saw all about the mining and the production of it. In culture, there is also all this circular economy that is developed and that needs to be pushed. It can be about scenography, but you can also think circular economy with all the digital equipment and digital stuff that you use, computers, video projectors, etc. So it's important to think economy of use whereas of economy of waste. So economy of use is first to share your equipment, share with all your colleagues, the people you work with, to share the equipment between companies, between theater, between a local region, sharing. Then repairing, as we just saw. Then resell or donate. Some stuff are sometimes still in use, but because we need a different format, because we need a different use, sometimes we just throw it away, but it's still in use. For instance, for video projectors, sometimes the format is not linked with your computer, etc. But some association can have it and resell it for you. So try to find maybe local resellers that can use all this e-equipment. Then recondition. Also, you can donate and maybe it will be repaired and resell also. And instead of wasting at the end of the cycle, prefer to try to find where you can recycle all the e-equipment. You can also reduce your impact by thinking about the format. For instance, for videos, you can be careful when you upload it on the cloud or on your drive or on the internet. Try to upload a video that is not too heavy, because the heavier it is, the more it consumes data and the more it emits CO2. Then think about throwing away what is unused. Like, you know, about the emails or all the stuff that we keep on our cloud and that we don't need them anymore. So try to throw it away, to suppress it, because if it's still on a data storage, it will continue to be emitting CO2 and be a problem for climate change. So as you can see, compress what can be compressed. When you send an email, maybe with a PDF, you can compress it. And also you can send link more than attachment or a player instead of a video attached. But be careful, because don't put your video in several networks, because it will also use data storage. So choose one network, put it online, and then use this link to share your video content. Then the question is, like you saw, one of the important dynamics that we have in decarbonizing the culture report is renouncement. So maybe before going into a project, you can question its new uses, like NFTs in the visual art field, or maybe a show through virtual reality. You can question really the importance of it in your creation before choosing to do it. And if you choose to do it, to really have a strong reflection on all its life cycle. So one of the key messages of this presentation on environmental impact of digital is that digital has an impact first. It's not a cloud. It has a physical print. So you have to keep it in mind. Then try to always think about the equipment that is linked to the digital consumption, because the equipment is accountable for half of the environmental impact of the digital use. Then think about the afterlife, about reusing, recycling, buying reconditioning equipment. And think that all this technology is also dependent on fossil fuels that are, as we saw before, not eternal. So think also about the rebound effect that you will have when you use new technology, when you promote new use of digital. What are going to be the after effect of it? So think global, maybe. It can be the conclusion of this presentation. Thanks, Sylvain. Thanks all for listening. We can have maybe what time is it? 5-minute breaks, and then we'll go back and have a quick session of exchange. And if you want to have maybe some enlightening on this presentation, or talk about how you use digital in your practices, it would be great.